Today, we dive into a document that raises a really uncomfortable question.
Why could the panoramic view from the top floor of a five-star hotel turn into a death trap in an emergency? Welcome to a new deep dive from Strategic Labs. And remember, you can always find the original links down in the description.
Okay, so let's get right into it. At the absolute core of corporate travel security, you've got this fundamental conflict. On one side, there's this huge pressure to cut costs, right? Squeeze every penny out of the budget. But on the other, companies have this thing called a duty of care, and it's a non-negotiable responsibility to keep their people safe. The source material makes it crystal clear. When you treat travel like it's just a number on a spreadsheet, you're not getting rid of risk. Nope, you're just handing it off to the traveler, usually when they're at their most vulnerable.
Now, this quote really reframes the whole problem, doesn't it? See, security isn't about dodging some single, massive, catastrophic event. It's actually about managing a whole chain of what look like tiny, insignificant choices. The hotel you book, the neighborhood it's in, the floor your room is on. Every single one is a link in that chain. And if you get enough of those little links wrong, a situation that should be totally manageable can just spiral out of control in a heartbeat. It's all about the process, not just one big decision.
So, where does that chain of decisions actually begin? Well, it's not what the hotel's 5-star rating or whether it has a pool. It starts with its location. Before you even think about the building itself, you have to think about the block it's on. This is your first, and you could argue your most critical layer of risk assessment.
And this brings us to this really fascinating concept of urban micro-geographies. The big idea here is that risk is never spread evenly across a city. A city can have a reputation for being safe, but the danger level can change, dramatically from one street to the very next. A smart traveler gets this. They don't just look at the city's reputation. They analyze the hotel's immediate surroundings.
And check this out. This slide just illustrates that trade-off perfectly. So, Hotel A, right next to an embassy. Sounds super secure, right? You've got tons of police, a controlled environment, but it's also a high-profile target. That means you could get stuck in a security lockdown or worse, become collateral damage. Then you've got Hotel B, right in the middle of a fun entertainment district. It's convenient, it's lively, but that same energy brings a much higher risk of petty crime or public disturbances. See, there's no single correct answer here. It's all about consciously choosing which risk profile you're actually prepared to handle.
So, this brings us from the macro, the big picture of the neighborhood, and zooms us all the way down to the micro, the hotel room itself. Once you've picked the building, the very next tactical decision is your room. This little space can be your sanctuary, a total safe haven, or if you haven't thought it through, it can become a trap. The classic security dilemma. A room on a high floor is great for protecting you from street-level crime. It's pretty tough for someone to break in on the 10th floor. But what if a fire breaks out? The research is clear. Being above the 6th or 7th floor can be a massive liability when you need to evacuate. On the flip side, a room on a low floor gives you a quick and easy escape route, but it also makes you a much easier target for a break-in. The right answer? It totally depends on the main risks of where you're going.
And the decisions keep coming. Even the view from your room is a trade-off between awareness and exposure. A room facing the street is great because you can see what's going on outside. That's fantastic situational awareness. The downside? It also means people outside can see you. You're way more exposed to being watched, and in a worst-case scenario, like a protest, you're exposed to things like projectiles. An interior room, on the other hand, gives you a nice protective buffer, but in some hotels with those huge open atriums, it could become a smoke trap, really limiting your escape routes.
Okay, how about where your room is on the floor? A room right by the elevator is convenient, no doubt, but all that foot traffic? It's a double-edged sword. It definitely increases the risk of a chance encounter or opportunistic crime, and it kills your privacy. A room way down at the end of the hall is quiet, secluded, very private. But in an emergency, every single second is precious, and that seclusion now means a longer, more complicated path to safety. Again, it's about making a deliberate, informed decision.
So after all these decisions, the ones made by your company, your travel manager, and by you, it all boils down to this. The final layer of security isn't something someone else can handle for you. It's about what you do in the first 5 minutes after you walk through that hotel room door. This is the moment you stop being a passive guest and become an active participant in your own safety.
This routine right here, it has to be non-negotiable. Don't just glance at that little map on the back of the door. Seriously. Get up and physically walk the path to the emergency exit.
Create a mental and a physical map of it. Where are the fire extinguishers? Do the locks on your door and windows actually work? Because in a crisis, your brain isn't going to calmly recall a diagram you looked at hours ago. It's going to rely on instinct and muscle memory. These 5 minutes are, without a doubt, the most important investment you can make on any trip.
All right, let's pull all of this together. As we've seen, hotel security isn't just the traveler's problem, and it's not just the company's problem either. It is absolutely a shared responsibility. And getting it right requires a total shift in mindset for everybody involved. It's about evolving from being a passive guest into an active guardian of your own security.
So, for you, the traveler, the takeaway is simple. Every choice is a security choice. The hotel, the room, and especially what you do the moment you arrive. And for the organization, your duty of care has to be more than just finding a room that fits the budget. It means providing real, useful intelligence about those micro-geographies we talked about. And, crucially, it means creating a culture where your employees feel empowered to make the safest choice, not just the cheapest one.
So, I'll leave you with this question to really think about. The next time you or your company books a hotel, remember, you are not just buying a place to sleep. You are actively selecting a specific package of risks and trade-offs. You are buying a risk profile. The only real question is, are you doing it on purpose? We have reached the end of this extensive analysis. If it added value, share and subscribe to Strategic Labs. See you next time.